Well, what an interesting week in politics. Definitely some ups and downs. We will be discussing Chicago corruption, because it's a day ending and why. Plus, official confirmation, not only that Donald Trump is not going to be indicted, but there was zero collusion with Russia, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez becoming a corn cob. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as The Hatman.
Welcome to Micah and The Hatman on Politics Live. Alright. Despite my legs being all jacked up, let me just say this, folks. If you have not worked out in a while, do not start with leg day with a personal trainer. I am genuinely worried that I have, torn one of, some of the muscles in my legs. I can barely move. It kind of sucks. So I've been basically sitting here ever since I woke up at 8 o'clock this morning and have struggled to get up and even use the restroom. It sucks.
What doesn't rip you apart completely makes you stronger.
Or so they say. All right. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So we're actually going to start with the shocking piece of political news from this week. And we originally covered this story, because we've been covering it since the start, as sort of a divide between politics and entertainment. And this one has now become 100% politics. Mm-hmm. And that is Jussie Smollett, over the week, had basically the charges against him dropped. Not exonerated.
16 felonies.
But 16 felonies dropped for $10,000 and a couple of hours of community service at Jesse Jackson's organization. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's that Windy City for you.
Yes. It is easily, and has been for the longest time, the most corrupt city in the United States. There is not a single more... I cannot think of a city that has had more corrupt politicians in it than Chicago, historically speaking.
I wouldn't know.
Now, corruption does, of course, has hurt other cities that other big cities as well. Baltimore comes to mind. Detroit comes to mind. A lot of the reasons that Detroit has fallen into a lot of the squander that it has is because of corrupt contractors and things like that. But Chicago has been one of the craziest, especially lately. So basically what happened here is that the district attorney, whose name is Nina Fox, I believe is her name. Let me pull this up again real quick.
Sounds about right.
Let's see here. But, let's see. Goodness.
Is she the district attorney or the state's attorney?
District or states? State's
Kim
attorney.
Fox.
Kim Fox,
Kim
yes.
Fox.
Now, Kim Fox, from what I've been reading this week, was elected on basically this idea of justice reform, which justice reform in Chicago basically means they're letting violent killers back onto the streets, which she has done very recently, and it's been very controversial. And how this has played out, Michelle Malkin has a really good article over at the Daily Wire that breaks it down, is that Jussie Smollett has been in good with the Obama family for a long time, since 2008. Worked with the Obamas back around that time. And around the time of this all starting and Smollett being charged, somebody who works with Michelle Obama still was her chief of staff, Tina Chen, inserted herself into the investigation.
Oh.
Yes. One would think and there's no confirmation of this, but one would think at the direction of Michelle Obama. But she said, 3 days after the incident, on behalf of Jussie Smollett and a family who I know. Wonder who that is. To express concerns. And the initial statement was to yield to the FBI on this particular case. And basically what ended up happening is the police and the FBI did not go the route that they were expecting, to basically say let bygones be bygones in this one. Not going to happen. What happens next is what we know at this point. Everything, whoa, Chaos Sonic just gave us a big donation. But everything goes freaking haywire. Charges dropped, small amount of money, and what's really interesting about this is that Chicago politicians and people within the city are giving very, very, very mixed signals on whether or not there's really unity among the Democrats who basically rule the area. Now, let me have a look and see what Chaos Sonic said here. Oh, it is about another review request, so I will read that on the Entertainment Podcast. But thank you, Chaos Sonic, for sure. And he's requesting me to review JoJo, which, twist my arm, why don't ya? But anyway, Rahm Emanuel, who I was not expecting to be angry about this, was fuming. Fuming mad.
It is basically never when we agree with Rahm Emanuel.
Yeah. Not to mention, keep in mind how tight Rahm Emanuel is with the Obamas as well. And so the fact that he is saying what he is saying is kind of shocking, and has shocked a lot of people. And of course, the chief of police in Chicago, very upset about this as well. The city of Chicago has officially sent Jussie Smollett a bill to pay for all of the police man-hours in investigating this crime. Because, keep in mind, what they did not exonerate him. Basically what it was saying was, oh, we know you're guilty, but you are going to... But, you know, you've basically done it. You know, what has happened to you is enough. Well, first off, what the citizens are saying is, no, it isn't. I called some friends of mine from up in the Chicago area. They say that the general feeling on the ground, whether you're in, you know, one part of the town or the other, rich part of town, poor part of town, is fuck Jussie Smollett. Because what he did makes everybody look bad. It pissed off CPD so much that they actually leaked what documents they could related to the investigation before they sealed the documents. Yeah. Straight onto the internet, right onto Twitter, for everyone to read. Now we got to move on to the next topic. It's almost already been 10 minutes, believe it or not. But geez. Yeah, I know, the time's flying. But basic idea at this point is that the FBI's part of the investigation and their determinations on whether or not to bring federal charges against Smollett has not been determined. Needless to say, there will be a lot of public pressure on the FBI. There will be pressure from people within Chicago. We'll have to see how it turns out. Do I think that the higher-ups of the Trump administration, who obviously are in control of the FBI, are going to do anything about this? Hard to say. I wouldn't think that they would. We'll have to see what the Attorney General says. But if... And why is his name blanking on me? He just got sworn in.
Bill Barr?
Bill Barr. Now, it would be hilarious if Bill Barr says, yeah, charge him. I would laugh my ass off.
He's kind of tied up with the whole Mueller report thing.
That's true, but he is saying that he is going to release the whole thing to Congress. So, which, no surprise there. Yeah. But we'll get to that in a second. Needless to say, though, this is, again, what I think was... What I want to say about this is two things. First off, was not surprised by this. Again, Chicago corrupt as fuck. There's a reason people are leaving Chicago in droves. And there's a reason people are leaving Illinois in droves. Trust me, I don't want to live here anymore. I would rather live somewhere else. I'd rather live in North Carolina near Hatman. I'd rather live, somewhere else. I love the people of Chicago. I will always love the city. I will always hate the politicians, and the politicians are what makes the city worse. Second thing is do I think that, I'm not one of these Jack Posobiec types who is going to Chicken Little it up and say that the sky is falling because this sort of thing is happening. This is Chicago. This has always been Chicago. Does this indict the justice system? No. Because for every one Jussie Smollett, you're probably going to find 9 other jackasses who went straight to jail. Jussie Smollett got off for 3 reasons. He's a progressive, so he checks all the right boxes. Black, gay. 2, he's rich. 3, he's in with the right people. So I will say this. I don't want to hear shit about white privilege ever again.
Take that, Twitter trends.
Yeah, fuck you. All right, let's move on to the next topic. No collusion.
Hey! Tell me something I don't know.
See, folks, there is good news in this podcast this week. quite a bit. So, this has been the theme of the week politically for most people, is the fact that AG Barr came out and said that in the Mueller report, there is nothing that could even hint at the idea that Donald Trump colluded with the Russians to win the election. At all.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, every single Democrat went freaking crazy. It was like election night all over again. Just constantly, all week. People were just in complete and total disbelief. There are some people trying to say that there's still hope. Jake Winker's Twitter is some totally galaxy brain stuff where he actually tried to say that somehow Trump colluded with the Russians to win the election after the election was over. What?
It's hilarious how people are sticking to this conspiracy theory that has now been absolutely, completely fucking debunked. And it's like they don't understand how to #resist without it. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, this has been a fun week. And of course, Trump has been grilling the media on this. Mm-hmm. Over and over and over again.
He had a celebration rally. I love it.
Pretty much, yeah. And he's been calling it the hoax of all, one of the biggest hoax in history. I'm tempted to agree with him. Because you have to think about this for a second. There are publications who won Pulitzers for saying Donald Trump colluded with the Russians.
Mm-hmm.
So now those Pulitzers are based on a lie. Meaning, by the way, for all the hardworking journalists out there who were, discussing reality instead of fan fiction, you got screwed, basically. Which is... That to me is like one of the biggest insults to journalism ever.
Mm-hmm.
Also, and this is kind of entertainment related, but I wanted to kind of fit it in here. Now Ta-Nehisi Coates' Captain America run is even sillier than it was to start with.
Oh my lord.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Wow. But no, this is just, it's, I would say it's refreshing because then we wouldn't have to fucking deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
But now we've got all the, it's like they want to prolong this for as long as possible. Now they've said, oh, well, Barr's summary is not the actual report. There's probably evidence of wrongdoing in there. We need to see the whole report. Then when the whole report comes out,
even though the summary written by Barr is only written after the report is submitted to him and read.
Mm-hmm. And included, quotes from the report too.
Yeah.
But no, we have to see the whole fucking thing just so we have absolutely no reason to believe that there was collusion, obstruction, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely ridiculous. Like I am betting now that after this is done, after the entire Trump Russia narrative is just blown the fuck up, they're going to try to push another bullshit investigation for, like, I don't know, violation of emoluments or something.
Yeah, like it's like at best that they could get him with is like guilt by association because he was associated with some people who were kind of shady.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and that's not going to go anywhere. And what's funnier about this is that Nancy Pelosi has even said that they're not going to be pursuing impeachment.
Mm-hmm.
And she's smart to say that.
Yeah.
Because she knows that now, here's the thing. She knows, she's smart, she's enough of a survivor in politics to know that the only way she keeps the speakerhood and the only way she keeps control of the House is if they don't push for impeachment. Because if you try to impeach Donald Trump on nonsense, people are going to pick up on it, people are going to get displeased with the Democrats, they're going to think they're wasting time, and then they're not going to win elections.
Mm-hmm. Though, to be fair, I don't think they've learned much of anything since losing in 2016.
No, well, the whole of them definitely have not, because you still have...
Platform.
Yeah,
you
you
still
still...
platform anti-Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they won on in or last year, 2018.
Yeah.
So they think, okay, well, that message is resounding, so we have to keep running on it.
Well, and you got to keep something in mind here. She has no control over her own people. Like, you've still got people like Swalwell, like, who's the guy from the Intelligence Committee whose name I'm forgetting?
Brennan?
Brennan Pencilneck. That was funny. But Brennan, you've got AOC, you've got others who were the ones who ran on Orange Man Bad, and then are not giving up the ghost on this one. They still want to impeach him. And it's like, you're not gonna, like, are you serious? Like, do you really think this is gonna go over that well?
Yeah, well, she's losing control of the party. The Democratic Party is moving further to the left at a rapid pace at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got those really, like, social media stars like Ocasio-Cortez. I don't even want to call her AOC because I feel like that's
giving her
into
credit.
the brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a brand at this point. And social media has a fuck ton to do with it. I mean, she's got, I think, more followers than any politician except for Donald Trump right now.
Yes. And here's the thing is, and this is just sort of tells you where the Democratic Party is. Like, you have to keep in mind, like, they're so far to the left, they won't even, like, support Israel.
Oh, absolutely not.
Like the only Democrats who went to AIPAC and spoke this year, and by the way, AIPAC, not exactly a right-leaning Jewish organization. You know, it's more towards the left. And some of the things that they have promoted in the past, I don't agree with. But, needless to say, though, going there and interacting and speaking to the people from AIPAC, it generally is something that a lot of American politicians do because of our alliance with Israel. And the only Democrats who spoke were Nancy Pelosi and the majority leader, whose name escapes me. His speech, by the way, was actually pretty good. No, majority leader in the House. Schumer wasn't there. I can't remember his name either.
Any Hoyer?
That's it. Yes, and he gave a really good speech because there was one point that he made that was a direct dig at Ocasio-Cortez, at Ilhan Omar, and who's the other anti-Semite? I can't remember her name.
Rashida
Tlaib.
I think is
Rashida Tlaib.
Okay.
And basically said there's 64 freshman congressmen in the House, not 3. Basically trying to say your pro-Palestine nonsense is not unanimously supported.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to be a point of contention in the future. But the fact of the matter is, the Democrats, they can't get their house in order. And the fact of the matter is that the Democrats are so corrupt that we're going to see districts change. And AOC's is going to fucking disappear, most likely in the future. They're actually, there's been rumors about that for a while now, and they're going to try to primary her, Tlaib, and Omar as well. So that's the only, yeah, as they should. But it's crazy, and it's all because they couldn't get over the fact that Orange Man indeed is not bad. Ridiculous.
It's literally that in 3 eyebrows.
Yeah. Speaking of freshman senator Congress people, though, so the Green New Deal, written by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I almost gave into it there, supported seemingly unanimously by the left, except for, you know, some people on the left who know what economics are and know that it's not a good idea to destroy entire industries and kill farting cows. Let's not forget that. But has been pushing the Green New Deal, and then what happened this week, God bless the Senate Republicans. they gave zero fucks.
God bless Mike Lee.
Well, not just Mike Lee. Like, you can tell that these guys and girls just met one day and said, you know what? When Mitch said, let's bring the Green New Deal to the floor, let's do it. And they were all rubbing their hands and plotting exactly how they were going to make fun of this dumb little bimbo. And okay, boy, oh boy, have they.
Cocaine Mitch brought this. Holy shit.
Yes, he literally brought the Green New Deal not for debate or hearing or anything like that. He skipped it and said, hey, you know what? If the world's going to end in 12 years, maybe we should vote on this. As he says with a wink and a nod as he comes out of his turtle shell. And lo and behold, they did. And the voting was 57-0.
Because most of the Democrats voted present.
Yes, keep it.
Even they couldn't vote for it.
Yeah, keep in mind, there's only, 53 Republican seats in the House, or in the Senate right now? Out of 100, I believe it's 53? 53 or 54. Yes, because 4 Democrats voted against this, went on record to say they are opposed to this. None of them would even touch it. Would not, they publicly would say that, oh, we support it, we should do this. And then, when it comes to actually voting and showing on record that you actually support it, they didn't do it. They didn't do it. Cory Booker, any of these people who are running for president saying that the Green New Deal is the best thing since, organic sliced bread, or vegan sliced bread, I guess, are now saying, we're not going to be on record and say we support this.
Wonder why. But
because here's the thing.
Mr. President.
Yes, Mike Lee is a freaking genius.
So
I'm not a Mormon, but I kind of like him.
Real talk. Years and years, actually, about a decade ago, if not a little while longer, I was asked to give a campaign speech as a character that I played at the time for a really shitty YouTube series, in which one of my campaign points, or one of my platforms, was gun control is fucking retarded. Yeah. And I pulled out a fucking RPG and said, you guys would definitely benefit from hunting with this thing. Ronald Reagan would do it, and you know it. 10 years later, Mike Lee on the Senate floor has a picture of Ronald Reagan riding a velociraptor with a fucking RPG strapped to his back.
He even brought up the Tauntaun scene from Empire Strikes Back.
Who would have thought of a fucking dumbass joke I made 10 years ago?
Here's what's better about it. He kept a straight face the whole time.
Oh my God, that was the greatest thing. That was one of the single
I'm
greatest
crying
things
right
I have
now.
ever seen in my entire life.
This is what I am. When I saw that, I immediately sent Hatman a DM. I'm like, you and I have to run for Congress now, because Mike Lee just did this stuff that we've been joking about doing for years.
Imagine the fucking button on the fucking on the fucking floor.
Oh my God, it was.
Imagine having a vote to declare exterminatus on a bitch.
That would be the first bill I would propose. An orbiting satellite attack on Palestine to wipe out Hamas. Oh God.
Oh God. Oh, wow.
I would be the kind of guy who would like write a law to bring in mobile suits as the next form of tank.
Oh man. Oh.
But in
God.
all seriousness, though, nobody took it seriously because it's not something that is supposed to be taken seriously. And let's talk about the reality of this. There is not a single credible climate scientist that says the world's gonna end in 12 fucking years. Nobody credible is saying that, but she is.
Even saying, like, we're going to reach a point where life will become unsustainable. There's nothing we're going to ever be able to do about it in 12 years either.
Yeah, it's basically saying more storms. Yeah, it's like more storms is one thing that they're saying, and that the ocean levels might rise a bit. So some places like, but the whole like Miami will be underwater. Like that's alarmism. And by the way, same type of alarmism that was in that fucking man-bear pig bullshit.
An inconvenient truth.
Yeah, an inconvenient nonsense.
It told me Miami was supposed to be underwater like 5 years ago.
Yeah, Miami's still there, folks. So, the fact of the matter is that if any of them actually believed what she believes, if anybody actually believed what Ocasio-Cortez believes, they would have voted yes. They would have had debates on the floor about it. That's what would be happening right now. And she is throwing a shit fit because they gave her what she wanted in the long run. Here are the facts. Sensible people do not believe that the Earth is going to be destroyed in 12 years because of climate change. All of the alarmism sounds exactly like alarmism. The reason it sounds like an Alex Jones conspiracy theory, like the Jews are taking over the world or something like that, is because it is a conspiracy theory. It is just as silly. It is people saw the crappy Day After Tomorrow movie and thought that was literally going to happen.
What's literally going to happen?
That, like, we're all going to die.
How many will die?
Millions will die! By the way, folks, if you missed it on Twitter, there will be a Millions Will Die shirt.
It's happening.
The design by the rather awesome Elusive Swede. I don't know why, but he drew me like my face like All Might from My Hero Academia. So now I will simply have you all refer to me as All Micah.
All Might and Wall Might.
So Timothy Lim, the next, there's gonna have to be a battle between Wall Might and All Micah, I guess, in the future. It's what happens when you blow me up. Oh goodness.
Will there be a Shame Hatman shirt?
There needs to be a Shame Hatman shirt. We will have all the memes as shirts, for sure. Alright. Plus a healthy dose of America that Bad Cop is going to be putting together for us, too. So, Hatman is going to be working with our artists to kind of speed that up because I really don't have the time to discuss it all the time, sadly.
Yes.
I put out 0 videos this week and I feel like shit for it. So.
That, and I'm handling production end of stuff, so.
Yep, exactly. All right. So, Creepy Joe.
Creepy Uncle Joe.
Hatman, fill us in on what's going on here.
So, Creepy Uncle Joe is getting Me Too'd. For apparently unwanted kissing. This is a pattern of behavior that people have been sort of talking about, like, not mainstream people, but you've at least heard about it. You know, this weird sort of behavior with women, typically like younger or underage almost, how he'll like get all up in their shit and, you know, touch them in odd ways or like kiss them or whatever.
Oh, we got a donation here.
We got a donation.
Yes, Edmund1 donated $5, said, all Micah and Walmite, best superhero team ever. I might message Brian and have him commission him for that.
Oh, God.
Be like, hey, I'll give you a little extra to do this one. Anyway, continue.
But yeah, and it's weird because now it looks like it's starting to gain traction right at the point where he is about to announce officially that he is running for president.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of odd, too, because someone in the chat noted also, he's been kind of apologizing for his role in the Anita Hill hearings, too.
Yeah, or not doing enough.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden, like, all this bad shit from his past is getting drawn up. So it begs the question, are the Democrats doing this to try and sabotage his campaign before it even begins?
I would agree with that 100%. Like you and I have said before, there is, and we don't completely agree on it, but we do, you know, there is no doubt if he runs, if he's not the number one guy, he'll be top 3 because
Absolutely.
he's who the incumbents want, because he would be considered a moderate among the bunch. Because the current moderate, whose name escapes me at the moment because I'm bad with names, Tulsi Gabbard, she is the only moderate in that group. Like Kristen Gillibrand, Veronica Booker, Kamala Harris, Kamala Super Slut Harris, literally sucked dick to get into politics. And I'm not kidding on that one. She's admitted it.
Seriously.
Yeah,
it happened.
Slut. But yeah, the progressive wing does not want Joe Biden to run.
No, he's another old white dude, and he's not progressive enough.
Yep.
I mean, they're tolerating Bernie Sanders at this point, but let's be real. He's still an old white dude.
Yeah. And that's one that kind of makes it interesting, is the fact that Bernie is losing the progressive wing.
Mm-hmm. So what happens when you go all in on identity politics?
Mm-hmm. So, if I recall correctly, what she said was that he kissed her on the back of the head. And I will say this. This dude has... I chose the title image here for a frickin' reason. It's because this dude has personal space issues.
Yeah.
And the simple fact that women have not just told him to fuck off is surprising to me.
It's odd. And devil's advocate for a moment here. I've known people that have had personal space issues, but it's oddly enough due to like trauma before. Mm-hmm. Like they will like get all up in your business, just about in your face, in order to talk to you. My former pastor was actually like that. So if this is something that Biden is doing unknowingly, yeah, this is just a big misunderstanding. However, it doesn't look like he's doing this with men. It looks like he's doing this with women. As mentioned, particularly younger women, and in some cases, underage girls.
Mm-hmm.
Creepy Uncle Joe. Looks creepy.
It has been his internet nickname, especially among right wingers for a while.
Gojira brings up a very interesting point. Remember, they went after Vic Mignogna because he had personal space issues.
Yes. Do I really think... Here's the real question. Do either of us think that this is going to stop him from possibly running? I don't think it will.
No. I think there is a very high chance that he could get Me Too'd, and something will come out that either we don't know about or that's flown under the radar up until this point, but there is, some evidence for it that's just sitting out there. And that will derail his campaign. Because I think at this point, the race for the Democratic nominee has gotten so muddy that they're not actually going to argue on policy. It's not going to be a race over who has the best policy. It's going to be nonsensical shit like, okay, which one of you committed the least bad crime?
Yeah.
In your career.
Which of us is the least corrupt?
Which one of y'all is also the most diverse? I mean, we have several check boxes here, and good policymaker, good leadership skills. They're not important. What's important is aesthetics. How it's almost like they want a fucking clickbait candidate.
Well, it's the thing about the Democrats is all they have these days are bumper sticker politics.
Pretty much.
They try to find little phrases that'll fit well on a bumper sticker, and
or
the
hashtags.
Yeah,
we've seen that. We've seen evidence of that. Unite Blue pushes hashtags and artificially gets them to trend even.
Yeah.
With what was it? Most recent one, like I Stand with Schiff or something.
Yeah.
That was artificial as fuck.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be like Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. My question is, like, who rides the dragon and starts roasting people alive?
Look, all I'm saying is we need to build the wall. And 100 members of the Night's Watch is not enough.
I will say, of all the ones that I think will end up burning their child alive to possibly win, my money would probably go with Christian Gillibrand on that one. Though Cory Booker comes in second place.
I would vote Gillibrand on that one. She's
especially given, yeah, pretty much. She's a younger Hillary Clinton and none of the connections.
Yeah, Cory Booker is an interesting case. I think the whole, him being a closeted gay man is going to come out and he's going to get roasted for not coming out.
Yeah.
That will be very interesting.
That one would be funny. But my whole thing with him is like, if I ever got the chance to be one of the YouTubers who submits questions for the DNC, I'd be like, Mr. Booker, I just have a very simple question for you. Being as stupid as you are, how do you function? How do you just not shit yourself and die? What the hell?
Tom the Fish in the chat says, wait, isn't Booker dating the nurse from Daredevil? Yeah, we have a word for that. A beard.
Yes. Oh, yes. That is a very very good way to put it. Oh, gosh. Okay, let's go ahead and get to the Q&A. That was our last topic for that element of things. So let's have a look and see what we got here. From the Patrons Discord, Talon Silverbane asks, for the political podcast, so with AOC's defeat with the Green New Deal, how will she recover? Can she, and what will she do now? Well, when it comes to people in the middle, they're going to start seeing her as the crazy person that she is, if they haven't already. To her own base, they're not going to care. They're just going to think that everybody who didn't agree with her is racist, sexist, homophobic, even though she's not gay, blah, 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 blah. It's the same thing Same verse, second verse, same as the first. So, but she has become a meme at this point. And in politics, when you become a meme, it's very hard to get away from that. Mm-hmm. I don't think she's going to be a lifelong politician. I do think that the connected, corrupt part of the Democrats that don't like her are going to inevitably do something to get rid of her district, meaning she go bye-bye. So, and then she will probably never get elected to anything ever again.
She might not get elected to anything again, but I kind of see her turning into like a full-time activist.
Yes, that I can see.
Almost like an Anita Sarkeesian kind of figure.
Yeah, I could see her, leaving that, like losing an election, getting primary or something like that, and immediately getting hired by Greenpeace.
Mm-hmm. She'd end up running the fucking SPLC at this rate.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
God.
What a shit show that's become.
Anything else from Discord?
Not at the moment, though I'll keep an eye out.
Okay.
So
emails.
I will let you, emails and Twitter.
Yes. Okay. From questionable weeb friend Chris, whose PC's power supply died last Sunday.
That's a bummer.
Jesus. Sucks. Okay. Are we
Thankfully
familiar
they're
with
cheap.
He said he spent about $230 on repairs. So I guess that's $230 Australian too. Jesus. Are we familiar with the Port Arthur massacre of 1996? It saw similar gun bans in Australia, like what we've seen recently in New Zealand.
Yes.
It often been debated whether the UN were involved because the adult responsible for the massacre was too mentally handicapped to have carried it out. Nowadays, all he does is offer blowjobs in prison for chocolate bars. Gives a whole new meaning to the term fuckface, I guess.
Yeah, that definitely does. Again, any claim made without evidence, etc., etc. What I would say is this: I have found it interesting that people try to say that ever since the gun ban in Australia, that their shooting rates have been, they went down catastrophically. I'm like, they were already trending downwards to get go. It's been a slope like this for years, even before the 1990s. So that would be my thoughts on it.
Yep, I concur. From Twitter, hey, Duke of Tumwater is asking questions again. It's been a while. Let's see. Which one do I want to save for the overflow? Because there's two questions. Do we want to talk about...
Well, you also have to keep in mind the rules.
Yes, I know.
And while Hatman chooses which question to do, I need to go ahead and reiterate that. So for those who missed last week, the rule is that, if we're answering your question on the main podcast, the overflow is for the ones we miss. So basically everyone gets one per topic either way. So, Hatman, what should we answer?
I'll pick this one because I think the other one we have actually answered before. May have been a while back, but regardless. Who do we think is the least bad of the 2020 Democratic candidates?
Tulsi.
Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard, easily. I mean, the fact that she put out a video on Twitter basically saying, okay, we got the Mueller report, no collusion, let's move on to other more pressing issues. And people in her party were telling her to fucking resign and go away, and how dare you do something like this. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like something small like that compared to the rest of the Democratic Party, and that fucking rustles their jimmies that bad. Yeah, I think it's a pretty easy competition there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, on to the chat then.
Yes. Go ahead, start picking out questions.
Let's see. Tom the Fish asks, I know we're against vegetarian veganism, but do we see a difference between religious vegans like Hindus and Jains, or is it Jains or Jainists? Anyway, and secular vegans like Peter Singer or Sam Harris?
Well, when it comes to religious beliefs, I don't, I really don't judge people on that. My issue when it comes to veganism, more so than anything, is that it's a very hard diet to keep and stay healthy. You have to be very, very good about keeping your proteins up. And B, there are some people who treat veganism like it is a religion.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I don't like. It's like, leave me alone. I like steak.
Yeah, it should always be a personal choice. Like, if people are doing it and are not trying to push it, that's fine. But then when you go, like, full PETA and start posting basically furry porn to try and get people to stop drinking milk...
Yeah, that was creepy.
Go directly to hell.
Yeah.
Pass code, I collect $200.
That was... Did you see the off topic? Did you see the Beto O'Rourke thing?
Oh,
the 4-letter reply. Or the 4-word reply. So for those who don't know, Beto O'Rourke sent out one of the most virtue-signaling tweets ever. All of right-wing Twitter immediately started replying to it with "Beto is a furry." Oh shit!
As if he wasn't enough of a degenerate.
Oh my god.
Anyway, let's move on. Hey, let's move on to something we can laugh at. Koopa's Revenge Home.
I was just laughing.
Hey, we'll laugh at something even harder. Did we hear about creepy porn lawyer getting arrested?
Yes, we did.
Arrested for trying to extort Nike. Literally fucking 45 minutes after tweeting some shit out about an announcement to do with Nike.
Oh my god.
Oh man, I love this timeline. I love this shit. We got fucking tauntauns on the Senate floor. Fucking creepy porn lawyer getting arrested for shit that he tweets out.
Yeah, the person who's being charged with him, none other than Jussie Smollett's lawyer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hardworld Entertainment says, so Cortez is sensitive about her name. Apparently she hates it as much as the Aztecs do. Might I suggest we just call her Cortez from now on?
She's sensitive about everything. Like, it's... Yeah, she's... To hell with her. That's really all I can say.
Fuck her?
Yeah, fuck him.
Fuck him.
What else is there?
Leonardo 1 asks, is the left trying to ban guns so they can have the advantage to disarm conservatives in order for Antifa to beat them down?
I don't know about that second part, but eventually, again, usual disarming of the public is to increase government power.
Yeah, it's a thing you gotta understand is that's a totalitarian move. Antifa, believe it or not, is actually against gun bans, buyback programs, all that sort of stuff, because they do believe that the people should arm themselves for the coming revolution.
Yeah,
that's the whole point. They're fucking anarchists. They want to overthrow the government, and they have to do that by shooting people with guns.
Yes.
So no, it's a difference between the left that's the totalitarian element and the left that is the anarchist element.
Yeah.
So anyway, what else we got? Samurai Bear asks, what politicians would we least want to have the Behelit?
Bernie Sanders?
Everyone turns to pudding. Oh, God.
He'd be immortal and king forever, so basically he'd be Griffith.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'd have to go with Bernie. Bernie's not a... Eclectic, you might have some history on this one. Eclectic 1995 asks, what was the root cause for Chicago's corruption? How did it all begin? Or how did it all begin?
Absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's not a new thing. The big thing, or the time when it was really known for it, was during Prohibition. There's a reason that there were that many speakeasies. There's a reason that Capone had that much power, and there was a reason that the local law enforcement didn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was in with the politicians.
So it goes back to Capone, or
Capone? Well, it's been before that, but Capone is the probably most famous example.
Because it's just something about Chicago.
It's always been that way. It's not called the Windy City just because of the wind. It's called the Windy City because of the hot air that all the politicians are breathing all the time. It is just a place where it seems to have a curse of, really, really bad politicians. It's been incredibly corrupt for a very long time. And the big thing about it is that nobody does anything about it either. If there was a if the FBI gave enough of a shit to investigate every single branch of Chicago government and was fully committed to putting people behind bars, there wouldn't be a Chicago government.
Shit. Sounds like a swamp that needs to be drained.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Crystal Wing asks, thoughts on the Brexit delay, and do we think we can get a no deal if Parliament keeps arguing with itself?
We kind of discussed that last week. I really don't have any thoughts on it.
Well, okay, here's a new element that happened. Theresa May offered to step down if they would pass her package, and they still wouldn't fucking do it. So not even the offer of her quitting was good enough. I reiterate what I said last week. It is astounding that she has still managed to survive 2 confidence votes. Absolutely fucking astounding.
It's really weird.
I think they're just buying time until they can say, okay, well, we're nullifying it. We're just going to stay with the EU.
Yeah.
And
British politicians are so out of touch with their constituents. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's way far beyond fucking ridiculous at this point. Matchstick has been spamming this one, so I'll go ahead and answer this. With the Democratic Party possibly fracturing soon, who or what could take their place as the rivals to the Republicans, and does a party's founder reflect to the current time? I've answered that first part before. I said the Democratic Socialists will supplant the Democratic Party. It's just a matter of time at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Does a party's founder reflect to the current time? I guess you're referring to Andrew Jackson?
I wouldn't say so, no.
I don't know. Andrew Jackson definitely would not be a current day Democrat.
Oh, fuck no. They would, no.
Absolutely not.
One of the first things he would say is, what are all these Negroes doing in here?
Pretty much.
Because for those who don't know, yeah, he's pretty racist.
Let's see. Brian Gilmartin asks, what are our thoughts on traditionalism?
Not something I would ever really adhere to. I mean, there's some elements of tradition that I, think are good. And my whole thing with tradition in general is that it's good to re-examine it. But at the same time, I don't completely conform to everything within tradition, because some things that are traditional are traditions just because they've been done for a long time, and they might not make sense anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because there's an element of adherence to traditionalism, or at least traditional values, as a conservative. But at the same time, it is important to, like you said, re-examine them from time to time. Like, okay, is this actually working?
Mm-hmm.
Because some things need to change and some things need to stay the same. It's just time always tells.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jackson, I figured, would be a racist Gary Johnson. Oh, Jesus. Jackson would Jackson would be so pissed off at like everyone. He would try to fucking found his own party, like the fuck you party or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh god. Let's see. Honest Whisperer asks, "What's your thoughts on this Muslim leader wanting an apology from the Spanish king for defeating Islam in 1492?" I mean, Surfer 100 has a similar question.
Seriously? What?
Muslim
Fuck
conquest,
him!
Fucking Muslim conquest. You just can never let go of that, I guess. I don't fucking know.
Only if he gives us an apology for ISIS. How about that?
Here's another one. Here's another one. Sorcerer 100 had a similar question. Thoughts on the president of Mexico demanding an apology from the King of Spain and the Pope?
For the whole thing with the Aztecs?
I guess for fucking Cortez.
I thought this is what Montezuma's revenge was.
Oh my
Christ.
God. Oh my god. Here's my apology crusade. Amen.
There you go.
There you fucking go. All right, one more. Let's see. Okay, Gojira's been asking this in for a while too. Do we think there's still deep mafia connections within the Democratic Party even today?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'd have to do some reading on that one. The mafia is not what it used to be.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Not since Gotti went under.
Yeah, and you know, Tony Soprano getting whatever the hell happened. But no, I have no fucking idea. I mean, you think the cartels have more power than the fucking mafia now, but
yeah,
I don't know if politicians are in with it. Well, outside of California, at least. Who was it that was it Leland Yee that got convicted for like gun running with the fucking cartels?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Well, it's 7 o'clock here, which means it's 6 o'clock there.
Yes. So we need to move on to the entertainment podcast. So I'm going to attempt to get out of this chair and get something to drink and, yeah, because legs are not quite there yet. Hopefully here in the next day or two, they'll be much more healed up. But if you would, please go ahead and put your questions in the chat now. If you haven't had your question answered yet for the overflow,
Yep.
One thing that I did want to say before we leave is that we give some answers sometimes that rub people the wrong way. And you know, if you have a disagreement with us, the one thing I would ask is that you give us a little bit of grace in regards to the things we say. Or if you want more clarification on what our thoughts are, please ask. We will definitely give it to you.
We have Twitters.
Yes.
And if you don't know, at Mind of Micah C is Micah, at The Hat 2 is me.
Yes. And the second thing is that I don't want you guys to think that we're trying to put up a wall between us and you with what we had said last week. It's just, we've got stuff that we have to do, but we will make time if we have to discuss, things that need discussing for sure. So with that, because we want to keep you guys here. We want you guys to continue watching. We love answering your questions every week. We love seeing you guys here in the chat. Love seeing everybody interact with one another and having fun with, honestly, what could be a miserable topic sometimes. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and bring this to a close, though. Stick around. Entertainment, we will be talking about game journalists sucking at Sekiro, Barbra Streisand having the worst take when it comes to the whole Michael Jackson thing being brought up again, And Hatman reviewed some weeb stuff.
Yes, I did.
My name is Micah Curtis.
I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as the Hatman.
See you guys very soon. Dave's fault.
Dave's fault.